I've been living in Alaska, Soldotna, for about the last 20 years. And I was introduced to the patches by my doctor after telling him some concerns that I had. I was getting ready to have a bunion surgery and I wanted to heal quickly. In fact, this was in October last year, and in January that same year, I had a hysterectomy to fix some prolapse issues that I was having. And my doctor recommended that I do the GHK shots for that. And it's just funny how that all connected eventually. And I thought that was interesting. But after my hysterectomy, I had some bladder issues that I had not had prior to that. And that surgeon suggested I do some physical therapy. It helped maybe a little, but it just didn't resolve the problem. He said, you need to probably have another procedure in order to fix it. So that was frustrating because I was just getting ready to have another surgery for my bunion. But he did tell me that you should never lift heavy things for the rest of your life after this surgery. And I thought that was interesting because I was pretty strong and thought that would really change my life, right? Anyway, so going back to getting ready for my bunion surgery, I'd also had arthritic pain in my hand, especially my right hand, some in my left, but my index finger would get stuck. I couldn't bend it without taking my other hand and like bending it back in order to release it. And so that was kind of a new issue that was bothering me. And my doctor said these stem cell patches, could probably help you recover from your surgery and this hand issue. I also had several other things going on. Seems like just weird things. I don't know if I'm just beginning to notice the aging. I'm 59. So I never have thought I was old, but perhaps that's when it starts. I had some bumps on my legs that were like goosebumps, but they just never went away, and they were on my thighs. And that was really frustrating. I also was struggling with my vision. I had never worn glasses, and I started to try to read small writing and it would get blurry. And anyway, so I probably needed some glasses at that point, but I just in denial. And I also had dry eyes, and I had a spider bite that was pretty severe. It was itchy for weeks. It never fully went away. It just sort of subsided under my skin, and I had a bump there. So after using the X39, I noticed a little bit more energy day one. I thought, well, that was nice. I had my surgery about a week after starting, and I slept.
Bunion surgery, right?
Bunion surgery, yeah. And I slept really deeply that week after, because I was using the X39 at night, by the way, because once you go in for day surgery, they don't let you put it on. So I put it on right after I got out. I eventually switched to days, but I was on no medication for that surgery. They did a pain ball for numbing my foot. And so that was kind of nice. It wasn't pain medication making me sleep deep. And I had a big boot I had to sleep in. So that was kind of a pain for the first little while. And then I noticed some skin issues. My skin issues went away. My bumps disappeared. My skin got softer. My nails have always been brittle and weak. They were never strong. And they started getting healthier, really strong. I could actually grow them out and they wouldn't break off. It was like a new thing. I'd also asked my doctor at one point, how do you get rid of those ridges in your nails? And he said, it's just old age. I'm like, you can't take a supplement or something or a vitamin? He's like, no. But the ridges in my nails are starting to disappear. So I thought that was really cool. My eyes, the dryness is gone. I no longer use those expensive eye drops for dryness. They're just so much better, and I can see better. I can read small writing without any trouble. So that's really huge. And 3 months after my bunion surgery, I had this metal plate and 6 screws that I wanted removed. I live in Alaska. I have had frostbite in the past, and so my toes are really sensitive to the cold, and I could feel the metal, a little colder than my other foot. So I wanted to get that removed. My surgeon had never removed anyone's metal from their foot that quickly. But everything looked good. He was willing to do it. And he went in there and he was just thrilled at how good the bone looked. Everything went perfectly. He called it a 10 out of 10 surgery and removed that metal and everything. That was in January of 2022 when X49 came out. So I thought, well, I'm going to add that to my regimen because it will help fill in those holes in my bone. Not really expecting a whole lot of other things to happen with X49, but I did notice a lot more energy when the two of them were combined. And I thought that was cool. So my surgery was in the middle of January, and I couldn't really, I had to be really careful for the first 2 weeks, but my surgeon did also say, you are going to swell, your foot is going to swell for the next 6 months. And that was really depressing to me because when you have a swollen foot, you're not moving a whole lot. And so I added the Aeon, just stuck it right on my foot. And that helped tremendously. So 2 weeks after surgery, I was back to playing pickleball. And that's something I do routinely every, week. I would play 5 days a week, a couple hours a day. And so that was great. And I also had, when I had this surgery, originally, it changed the shape of my foot. There was a big space between my big toe and my other toes, which was a little odd. Tried to fit it into my snow boots and it would not work. And
so I'm going to interrupt here a little bit so everybody can see her picture.
So this is right after surgery, when they removed the metal. And you can kind of see that space.
Yeah, so there's that space between the two toes, or between the big toe and the next toe. And then, okay, continue.
Yeah, so I couldn't fit into all my shoes. I mean, yeah, the bunion was improved, but it was still kind of awkward. And I asked him, I said, so is this ever going to look like my other foot again? And he said, no. So that was a little disappointing, but it had to be done. I had arthritis in my toe. It was just something I needed to do. So I wasn't disappointed that I did the surgery. It was just kind of like a letdown, thinking, okay, now I have to deal with this. But like I said, I started getting active again. My husband and I took a trip to England in the spring, and we hiked up many cathedral stairs, I'll put it that way. And we were passing up the teenagers. So I felt really great. I was feeling strong. There's something about X49, adding that to your regimen really increased my strength in my core. And my bladder issues started to improve. I even felt my bladder, like I could feel it almost shifting a little bit. And so the leakage was just not as bad. And now it's like almost completely gone. Like I don't even think about it. I don't even wear any protection. So I feel really great. And so that was huge. And also my grip strength and, a lot of that muscle strength came back. And now I don't have any issues with lifting things. Sometimes I lift heavy things and I just don't feel like I need to worry about it, if that makes sense. I also had been doing chelation because I had some high lead in my body. When I was a little girl, I ingested lead paint and the smell of lead gas. I grew up in that era. And every time I did the chelation, it's about a 3-hour process. They put a needle in your vein. My veins would hurt. Oh, they hurt really bad. And they put as much numbing medication as they could, but it didn't help that much. Noticing after X49 and doing chelation, my vein did not hurt. It was amazing to me that I didn't have that pain. So I know that it was helping my cardiovascular system. I even did like a blood draw 2 days later in the same vein. I have only one vein that works well and no pain. I have a lot of scar tissue in there, and I'm thrilled because I know my veins are healthier now. So is there...
If I interject, so I want to go back a little bit about your foot, Christine. So after your second surgery, your toes were splayed, and the doctor said there's nothing you're gonna do. It's gonna be that way the rest of your life. So I want to share your second picture that you shared with me. Yeah. And there you can see your toes are exactly like the other foot.
Yeah. So that was about 6 months later that I felt my toe moving in, and it just started to self-correct. there's nothing else that could have done that other than these patches. I mean, it's just unheard of.
Yeah.
So,
What I like about it is that the physician said, no, nothing you can do about it. It's going to be that way the rest of your life. And proved him wrong. Got it back, baby.
and I get to wear my snow boots now, and I love it.
That's kind of necessity.
Yes, yes, yes. So I'm thrilled. My skin has improved. I just feel like a new person. I feel younger. I feel healthier, and I am so grateful for what they've done for me overall, and I just look forward to what's going to happen next. What's the next thing that's going to improve in my life?
And you also mentioned about some back pain that you had.
Yeah. So I had started having like muscle spasms in my back, and it was just random. I had no idea when it was coming or going, and it really bothered me. One day I just stuck a patch right on it and the pain went away. So that was really cool. It was really instant. Before I started patching, I was concerned about crossing my legs. I'm like always trying to sit up straight, just thinking I'm going to spaz, my back's going to spaz again. But I have no issues now whatsoever with my back, and I can sit however I want.
That is excellent. And your eyesight and your dry eyes?
Yes, my dry eyes have gone away. My eyes, I can read now. It's all, anything small writing is pretty easy to read now. And that's wonderful. I don't feel like I'm ever going to need readers. So that makes me happy. And my eye color has actually lightened a little bit, which I think I heard on somebody said on a podcast that sometimes that just means you're healthier. So I thought that was kind of cool.
And let's see, now to remember our conversation last night, I believe you had a hiking slip fall.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I forgot to tell you my spider bite. It completely got better, popped out of my skin and disappeared. It itched for just a day and then disappeared. Yeah, so this last Labor Day, we went with our kids and we were paddleboarding, and my husband wanted to jump off a cliff into the water, and we had to go down a very steep trail. And I was in sandals and a bathing suit, and it was very dry and rocky. And my younger son was down below taking a picture of my husband right next to the water. He started to slide into the water, and he's got this very fancy, expensive camera he was trying to keep dry. And so he's yelling for help. And of course, I'm the mom. I'm going to try to run to him. So I slid and I fell really hard on a rock, big, deep tissue injury. It was painful. But I'm thinking I'm patching, this is kind of cool. The bruise came out the very next day. I was probably taking it slow that day, but the next day I was okay. I could still move. I could still do stuff with the grandkids, and it just healed so quickly. I was thrilled because it gave me that confidence that, yeah, I'm older, but I can heal. And so I don't have to live in fear. I can still live my life and be active and do all the things I want to do. There's something marvelous about the sense of well-being that you have when you're using these patches. And it just gives you hope for the future and hope for a better life as you age, which I was losing beforehand. And now I'm just so thrilled.
Excellent. I remember last week, Eli basically said the same thing. He goes, we just start looking and go, oh, this is what aging looks like. And it's like, no, it doesn't have to look that way. And here you are saying pretty much the same thing. So your story is amazing, but I do want to bring up the last two points that which you shared last night about your sleep. And also once you started using both patches, how you noticed some things are starting to change around the midsection.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that. Okay, so started X49 in January, and we took measurements because we, heard that maybe it could make a difference. You have to remember, middle of January I had a surgery, so I wasn't doing a whole lot for a couple weeks after that. And then in February we got COVID, and we were out for a couple weeks for that. But by the end of February, I had actually lost 3 inches off my waist, and then by the end of April, I'd lost another inch. This is not diet. This is not extra exercise. This is just the patch. And that's how it worked for me. So I was amazed